please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door. Stay clear of the door. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA.
Welcome aboard the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. This is not Justin Monorail, nor any members of the Monorail. The Poochie era of the Monorail continues because it's Captain Landon back in the big seat, giving you some small updates from the House of the Mouse down in Orlando, Florida. Don't think it's going to be a marathon episode like last week's was. I don't have any surveys, at least of now, to fill out and do live on a podcast. Thank y'all for coming along with Justin Monorail's barge-filled insanity rant. That was something else, wasn't it? But no monorails this week. Jay is actually, speaking of the barges, recovering right now after his meltdown last week about the barges, and on top of that, he has to play in the Saskatchewan Regional POG tournament. You know, he talked about going international. Well, now he's now Mr. Worldwide. Sorry to steal a line from Pitbull, who I know is a loyal listener of the Monorail. Like I said, just a few news items I want to hit on. A update on a news item I talked about a few weeks ago about a beloved attraction. What seems like it's becoming a recurring theme whenever I host is me updating park operation hours. Got some news on that. The start date and end date of the next festival coming to Epcot with a little bit of information about it. But first, I want to start in the most magical place on Earth, in the Magic Kingdom, with the continued renovation of the People Mover. I know back in the day, which was a Tuesday, by the way, even though we released on a Monday, Jay would always make the joke, and Stitch is still closed. I feel like we're approaching that point kind of with the People Mover, because it's now been over a year since the People Mover shut down randomly for some renovations and has stayed closed. But it seems like the end may be in sight. But I want everybody to slow their roll real quick, because it feels like I've seen this story a lot on social. I see people talking about, oh, we just saw the TTA moving around. Oh, there were cast members riding it. Oh, we saw cast members pushing the cart around the track. I don't know if that's a good sign, but the fact that we are seeing some movement of the TTA does make me feel good. And there were even some rumors that it was going to open this past weekend, which, by the way, happy belated Easter if you celebrate that. Good stuff. But that didn't come true. But now Disney has announced a new reopening target of May 1st, 2021. And I said reopening target, not reopening date. I want to emphasize that. But just like I want it back. The TTA is a very underrated ride in the Magic Kingdom. I don't know if a lot of people realize just how awesome it is. And on a hot day, it can be a nice reprieve, so to speak. You get to go look around Tomorrowland, go inside Space Mountain, which, as we talked about on last week's episode, I think is the closest I'm going to be getting onto Space Mountain, because my body just can't handle it. I'm old. Not as old as Frank, though. Nobody's ever as old as Frank. Callback. But yeah, so hopefully we will get to ride the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover sooner rather than later. And speaking of something happening sooner rather than later, on their official blog, Disney Parks has announced that the reimagining of the Jungle Cruise will happen this year. So when you hear that, you're like, oh no, they're going to be shutting down the Jungle Cruise, which is, we talked about when this news initially broke, how this is one of my favorite rides, and same with the rest of the Monorail family. But not so fast, my friend, to steal a line from Lee Corso, and I don't know I'm quoting Lee Corso, not a fan of that guy. On his Instagram, Disney Imagineer Zach Ridley, or as I will now refer to him as Ridley Diddly Diddly Doo, talked about how they are going to be doing the reimagining while the attraction stays open. Quote, "You may start to notice some monkey business along the river as work begins on Jungle Cruise at the Magic Kingdom. The good news for all of you visiting Walt Disney World is the attraction will remain open to guests while our teams update scenes in a phased approach over the next several months. We can't wait to share the enhancements with our guests as we build the story of the Jungle Cruise at both Magic Kingdom and Disneyland Park." I think that's awesome, because whenever you hear it's going to be reimagined, it's like, well, we just talked about how the daggum People Mover has been closed for over a year, so it's like, oh no, if you were that family and either you or somebody in your party, the Jungle Cruise was your jam, that was your favorite attraction, you go down there and it's closed, it's like, oh, that's not great. Don't got to worry about that, it sounds like. So good on the Imagineers for finding a way to keep this beloved attraction open. They also did announce that part of the new Jungle Cruise experience will be called River Journeys. I guess the whole thing of a rose is sweet by any other name comes true. Just don't screw this up, Imagineers. I have faith in you, but I just have to remind you, don't screw it up, buddies. By the way, we'll see if Zach Ridley Diddly Diddly Doo catches on. I doubt it, but anyway, speaking of catching on, it's time for Landon's Reoccurring Theme Park Operating Hour segment. We'll work on a sound here. They have announced on an updated calendar that they have extended the hours of all 4 theme parks from April 18th through the 24th. So not this week, not next week, the week after that. I think that's how calendars work. Anyway, Disney's Hollywood Studios is increasing their operating hours by 2, moving to a 9 a.m. opening and an 8 p.m. close. Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Disney's Animal Kingdom are all seeing increases of 4 hours apiece. Magic Kingdom is now opening at 8, closing at 9 p.m. Epcot is moving to a 11 p.m. close. So once again, if you're a fan of a late dinner, you maybe want to get some beverages and walk around the World Showcase and just gaze lovingly as Justin Monorail does at those barges, you can do so. And Disney's Animal Kingdom is moving to an 8 a.m. opening and an 8 p.m. close. So that has been Landon's weekly park operating hour segment, or whatever I call it. Segment. And then finally, we're going to go a little old school monorail style. We're going to talk about some tasty treats as Disney starts to pull back the curtain, so to speak, a little bit on the upcoming Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. They recently announced on their official parks blog that it will kick off on July 15th and will be shutting it down on November the 20th. They do say this year's event will kick off with global marketplaces, including the return of many favorites. They list Canada, Greece, Germany, Hops and Barley, Appleseed Orchard, and others. So just I guess, taste of what's to come, taste, because it's food and wine. Man, I'm really bad at this. They also go on to say, sample all sorts of delicious cheeses served in a fun way as part of a meal's fromage montage. If you collect a stamp from 5 different global marketplaces, you'll earn a prize. So who doesn't like good cheese and prizes, y'all? We've seen in the past, Remy, in my opinion, is kind of the unofficial icon or mascot of the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. I feel 100% confident saying it will continue, and I'm also kind of confident saying they might amp it up with the opening of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure coming in the France Pavilion. But before that, Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak will send you on a savory scavenger hunt in search of Remy statues hidden all over the park. I know in years past, McKenna Monorail has done that. One day I was down at the park with the Monorail family, and that was fun looking for Remy statues. And once again, you get a prize. Prizes for everybody, it sounds like. Of course, they'll have souvenirs and new merchandise, including festival spirit jerseys, baseball caps, pins, T-shirts. I'm starting to think this whole thing might be a profit deal. And then, of course, they will have your favorite musical performances, such as the Voices of Liberty, Mariachi Cobre, and the Jammin' Chefs. So, not a whole lot out there on the food and wine news front, so to speak, but Disney is kind of slowly setting you up what to expect. You can head over to tasteepcot.com, and they also have hashtag Taste Epcot on social channels for other, quote, tasty tidbits. All right, yeah. Looking forward to the International Food and Wine Festival. We talked on previous episodes, not necessarily my favorite festival that Epcot has, but I mean, it's a festival at Epcot. You know it's not going to be bad, so something to look forward to, and that's something me and my mom are looking forward to when we are down in October. So, yeah, that's about all from me for this week. I want to thank y'all for coming along on the ride on this monorail. Like I said, brief ride on the monorail, but still want to keep cranking out some content, give y'all something to listen to as you kick off your work week, or I know we have some people on non-Monday to Friday work week, so something to just listen to during the week period. I want to thank y'all for sticking with us right now. I know this isn't the show that you've come to expect and enjoy over the last almost 150 episodes, well, over 150 episodes if you count the non-numbered ones, but yeah, I just want to keep cranking out the content for you guys, because I like doing this. I like talking about Disney, I like talking about the House of the Mouse, and I like talking to y'all. I mean, that's one thing that Jay and the Monorail family has really done over this last little bit. They've cultivated and built a killer audience, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it, to be able to talk to y'all on a somewhat regular basis. So I guess this is the part where we hit the plugs. Follow the Morning Monorail podcast at Morning Monorail on Twitter. Their website, I believe, is still MondayMorningMonorailPodcast.com. That's where you can find all sorts of good stuff. Actually, it's been changed to MorningMonorail.com, which I'm 2 thumbs up on, because that old URL was a kind of a mouthful. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, be sure to head over there. It is the Morning Monorail Podcast family, or the fam, as Jay likes to call it, because he's a nerd. Now I love him. Love the entire Monorail family. Speaking of other members of the Monorail family, follow Garrett at Skelligummy, or Skelligummy everywhere. He's currently in negotiations with G4 to be the face of Attack of the Show when it comes back. So look out, Kevin Pereira. Skelligummy's coming to take your job. And McKenna, once again, told me to mind my own business, which... Whew. And if you're wondering, Sam is just turned into a superhero at this point now that she's off of her hard 75. She is currently flexing on suckers as we speak, which feels pretty on par for us, Sam. But as for me, Landoz, please go follow me, Landon Doane. I'm the best, Landon Doane, not the rest. That's where you can follow me, 280 characters at a time on Twitter. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com. Buttmunchchips, sit on your butt and munch, where you can find really old podcasts like Game of Thrones talk. There's some stuff I did in college radio if you want to hear me interview the cast of Futurama, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the Venture Brothers, stuff like that, bunch of sounders I made. So if you want to see where this whole mess started to grow, head over there and check that out. But in lieu of that, I invite you to go to the iTunes store and search for Near Fall Radio. That is a podcast on the sweet science of professional wrestling, where myself and Will Rabb wax poetic about what's happening inside the squared circle and out. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now WrestleMania 37 week. We are days away from the granddaddy of them all, the Showcase of the Immortals, the biggest day on the wrestling calendar, but it's now 2 days on the wrestling calendar, because once again, WrestleMania is too big for one night. Streaming on the Peacock Network app thingamajig, whatever you want to call it, this Saturday and Sunday, nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania 37. So myself and Will Rabb will be joining you to talk about our thoughts on the road to WrestleMania and what is going to be happening. And we also, if you're not a fan of the WWE current product and you're a fan of WCW, or World Championship Wrestling, we just went past the 20th anniversary of the doors closing on World Championship Wrestling. So Rab and myself look back on the impact WCW had, and in hindsight, was it a good thing for Vince McMahon and the WWE to outright buy their competition? If you're a fan of that, go check it out. And I also appear on The Phil Show, News Talk 98.7 WOKI, radio station locally here in Knoxville, Tennessee, streaming 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at newstalk987.com. Also available on the iHeartRadio app and the News Talk 987 app as well. So for the Monorail family, my name is Landon Doane. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Stay safe, keep your distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, and be excellent to each other. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for riding with us today. You can find us on the socials at Morning Monorail. The website is morningmonorail.com, and the email is mondaymorningmonorail@gmail.com. You can also call our voicemail 407-917-2144. Thank you so much for being part of the Monorail family. We'll see you next time.